So you want to make your ex obsess over you, do you? Well, you're in luck because in this short video, I'm going to reveal 3 sneaky mind tricks that can help make that a reality. Now today, I'm going to skip the introduction and I'm just going to go straight into it. So the first psychological tactic that you must employ if you want your ex back is what I call the recovery period. Now, if you've just broken up with your ex, then you're probably experiencing a ton of different emotions, from sad to angry to confusion, maybe even frustration. And at this stage, all you probably want to do is talk to your ex. You might even be tempted to beg or to plead for your ex to come back. But if you're at all familiar with my videos on YouTube, or if you've ever read my X Factor Guide program, then you already know that begging and pleading for your ex back is only going to make him or her less attracted to you. So if your goal is to make your ex obsess over you again, then acting desperate and emotional, it's just going to have the opposite effect. So the first step is to recover from the heartache and the depression, and then you can go from there. And once your ex sees that you're handling the breakup maturely and calmly, he or she's going to be more open to communicating with you in the future. So there's a few tips and tricks that can help you go through this recovery phase. And one of the best tips that I can give you is to employ the no contact strategy. Now, I've covered this extensively in other videos on YouTube, so I'm not going to bother explaining no contact again in this video, but it is a tactic that acts basically as a 1-2 punch. First, it helps you get over your ex and the emotional state that you're in after the breakup as quickly as possible. And secondly, it also allows your ex's emotions to settle down a little bit as well. You won't be able to attract your ex back into your life, let alone make them obsess over you, unless you do some form of the no contact strategy as soon as you can. Now, that's not to say that the no contact strategy is the only answer. I mean, there's a myriad of ways in which you can help yourself recover from the breakup. Number 1 way to recover, hang out with your friends. Now, this is not going to directly help you get your ex back, but it is going to help you deal with the emotions that you're currently experiencing. Your friends are not only going to lend an ear, but they're also going to allow you to forget about your ex. And better yet, if your ex sees that you're having a lot of fun with your friends on social media, he or she's going to get the impression that you're handling the post-breakup period just fine. And sometimes this on its own is actually enough to make your ex feel enough regret over the breakup that they actually just want to get back together with you. Now, that is rare, but it definitely does happen. So before you feel like throwing in the towel and giving up on life, give your best friend a ring. You're not going to regret it. It's going to help you in this phase of your post-breakup process. And number 2, join a club or a sport. I mean, like I just said, keeping your mind occupied during the breakup is going to really help you immensely. And a great way to keep yourself distracted is to join a club, a sports group, class, any kind of social event or gathering that you might be interested in. Now, I know this can be extremely difficult to do when all you really want to do is wallow in your sorrows at home alone. But I promise you, taking the first step to recovery is often the hardest part. Once you gather the strength to go out there and to meet other people, it's only going to get easier and easier. And once again, if your ex sees that you're meeting and attracting more people into your life, he or she's going to wonder, even subconsciously, why they let go of you in the first place and why they let you walk out of their life. Number 3, focus on a hobby or a passion. You don't always want to have to be around people if you want to get over your breakup. Sometimes it's enough to just pick up a new hobby or a new passion that you've always wanted to try. Maybe there's something out there that you've always wanted to do, but you've just never had the chance or the motivation to actually try it. So now is the perfect time to go ahead and try it. And don't limit yourself just to hobbies and recreation. You can also shift your energy and your focus on other avenues of your life, like work or school. Regardless of whether you do get your ex back or not, you're going to thank yourself for doing this kind of stuff. And this is just a handful of ways that you can recover from a tough breakup. If you want even more advice on how to do this, then just visit my website, beatthebreakup.com. And on my website there, you'll discover even more tips and tricks to help you get over your heartache as quickly as possible. Now, before I continue, it's really easy to dismiss my recovery phase tactic, the stuff that I just talked about. I know that if you're a person who's desperately wanting to get their ex back, it can be really difficult to listen to advice that doesn't really seem to help solve the problem. But I promise you, recovering from the breakup is only going to make my next strategy, which I'm about to talk about, much easier to employ. And so let's move on to that next strategy, the psychological process, what I call the rekindling phase. Now, in this second rekindling phase, your main goal is just to establish a connection with your ex in a fun and attractive way. So let's think about where you're at right now. We're finishing up with the no contact strategy. We've been employing some of the tips and the tricks that we're using to get over your ex. And now comes the hard part, reaching out to your ex. And this is probably where most of my clients have the most difficulty. If your ex dumped you, then he or she is not going to want to talk to you or to get back together without a really good reason. He or she's also going to suspect that any sort of attempt to communicate by you is basically just a sign that you miss them and want them back. So that's exactly what you don't want to allow to happen. So, how do you reach out to your ex without letting him or her know that you miss them and you want them back? And how do you let them know that you're actually not interested in getting back together? Which may or may not be the truth, but that's what you want your ex to perceive it as, your intentions as being. Now, in my X Factor program, I outline a number of effective ways that you can achieve this. In this video, I'm just going to talk about one of them, and let's talk about one that I call the help date tactic. And what you need to do is basically just set up a contact with your ex and arrange a meeting. But the only key here is that you have to make it seem like the only reason you actually want to meet up is because you want to ask your ex for some advice. So, for example, say you need help remodeling your kitchen, and your ex is great at interior design. You could just ask him or her out to meet for coffee by texting and saying something like, hey, hope all's going well with you. I'm in the process of actually just remodeling my kitchen and I need some help. I know you're always good with this kind of stuff. Just wondering if we could grab a quick coffee and talk about it. And that's it. That's all you need to say. Now, by asking your ex for a very specific reason, like a very logical and believable reason, he or she is not going to feel threatened by the prospect of meeting up with you. But do remember though, if your ex gets the impression that you miss them and that you want to get back together, they're going to be extremely hesitant to agree to a meetup with you. Now again, this is just one of the ways that you can set up a meeting with your ex. If you're stumped and you can't figure out a believable way in which you can use as an excuse to meet up with your ex, then you probably should just go over to my website after this video is over and watch the full-length free video presentation I've got up there. The URL is breakupbrad.com. And in that video there on breakupbrad.com, I go into a lot more depth about how you can use some of these sneaky psychological tactics to actually force your ex to obsess over you again. So next, let's move on to the final strategic step, which I call the reattraction phase. Now, this final stage is arguably the most important step because it's where you'll rebuild the attraction sufficiently to the point where your ex is going to begin to actually obsess over you again. And again, since this is a short video, I'm only going to go over just a few of the tactics that you can use to do this. If you want to learn more about my whole method and my program, just go to breakupbrad.com. And the first way to make your ex wild with desire is just to flirt like crazy. This is a tactic that's often forgotten about when my clients try and get their ex back. They forget that the fundamental reason why their ex broke up with them is because the emotional and the physical attraction faded out. They just disappeared over time. So in order to make your ex desperate for you again, you need to rebuild that natural organic attraction and reattract him or her back into your life. And one of the best ways to do this, obviously, is flirting, right? So how do you go about flirting with your ex? I'm just going to quickly go over some of the basic tactics that are proven to work. But honestly, you know your ex best. You know what works. You know their turn-ons and turn-offs. So keep that in mind before you meet up with your ex. But here is flirting tactic number one, which is just to make eye contact. There's nothing ruder and less attractive than talking to a person who just simply doesn't look at you, right? So your ex broke up with you because they didn't feel an emotional attraction or emotional connection to you anymore, and that attraction faded out. So when you do meet up with your ex, you need to prove to him or her that the connection that you once shared is still there, and it can still be rebuilt and the spark can come back. And making solid eye contact with him or her is a really good way to start rebuilding that natural attraction. And flirting tactic number two is to actually touch your ex. Flirting really just isn't complete without some kind of playful touching. Touching is crucial when it comes to creating romance, to sexual desire and attraction. So if I could give anyone just one flirting tip, it would be to touch your ex as much as possible without coming across as creepy. So, the next time you and your ex are together, don't be afraid to, playfully jab them in the arm or touch their hand or, flirtily fix their hair. If you start to do this kind of thing properly, your ex is just going to be blushing like no tomorrow. And that does bring me on to flirting tactic number three, which is just to smile. One of your main goals when you're hanging out with your ex is just simply to have fun. You're not gonna make your ex obsess over you if you're being boring and dull, angry, dramatic in any way. So just put a smile on your face and be playful, have fun. And finally, flirting tactic number 4, just drop some subtle reminders of your shared past history. Do you remember a steamy, sexy moment that you and your ex shared in the past? A great way to flirt is to just subtly bring up one of those kind of events that you shared together in the past. But again, I gotta warn you that the key here is to do this casually. So to better explain, let me just jump right into an example. You could say something like, oh, hey, by the way, remember that night at the lighthouse a few months ago? You know, that place we went on our anniversary. That was fun, right? I went there again a week ago with a friend, and they've opened a sweet little cafe right beside it. They sell the best crepes. You know, something as simple as that is going to make your ex, it's going to force them to relive that memorable moment that you two shared together, and it's not going to seem, awkward or forced in any way. So come up with something like that that will work for your situation before you meet up with your ex next, and use it, and I think you'll really see that it makes a big difference and makes that attraction start to come back. Now, making your ex obsess over you is obviously a lot more complicated than just simply flirting with him or her. I mean, among other things, you need to plant a seed of devotion and desire in the back of their mind so that they're going to feel, truly compelled to chase you down again and ultimately to obsess over you. And now I know this video is already getting a little longer than I wanted it to, so I'll leave it here. But if you do want to learn some of the more powerful methods that I haven't talked about in this video that will make your ex obsess over you, then you need to head over to breakupbrad.com. Again, that's breakupbrad.com. And just visit that site right now before you do anything else and watch the free video that I've got up on there on my website right now. It's free. Just head over there, breakupbrad.com. And that's all for today, guys. So thanks very much for watching. See you next time.